Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight to our board committee meeting of the holes, May 28th. I'm sorry, not May 28th, May 20th. Sorry about that. Let's call this meeting into order by saluting the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Kaufman.
Ms. Boykins?
Present.
Ms. Hoff?
Present.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
Ms. Richardson?
Here.
Ms. Hopkins?
Here.
Mr. Tom?
Present.
Mr. Callahan?
Here.
Ms. Cook-Henry?
Present.
Ms. Ivory?
Present.
Thank you. Next week, we're going to go right into our special presentations. A facilities master plan design update from KCBA. Today will be presented.
By Ryan.
Ryan, okay, sorry, I had to make sure which person. Okay, oh, there he is. Hi, Ryan, how are you? So
Good, how are you?
Oh, doing great. Thank you for asking. So we're going to get an update on our facilities master plan by Ryan from KCBA. Ryan, you have the floor.
All right, I will try to share my screen here. Share, all right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting us provide this. First, I wanted to start off by just saying how busy we've been. So it's been a little while since we've seen this group, but we've been busy meeting with the design committee bi-weekly, made up of a few of the facilities members, as well as district administration, some other district admin folks. We also conducted a staff feedback forum, which also included a questionnaire for staff to fill out. Have begun the land development process with zoning, as well as an additional community meeting that we had the other night in the auditorium of Green Avenue, and also starting to meet with various officials between the fire marshal, code official, to review technical items of the plan. And certainly there are many more meetings to come between associations regarding the memorials, Shade Tree Commission, all of those groups, especially for Green Ave campus, as well as Cypress. Additionally met with staff for Cypress from that municipality as well. So lots of meetings have occurred so far, but let's jump into the actual update. As a recap, we'll start with Green Avenue, existing building with the field behind. As we look at the site plan, East Essex Avenue to the north, Green Avenue to the east, with the existing building sitting in the center of the screen there. As we look at how this project has formed, we have the existing main entrance off of Green, the athletic entrance off of Essex Avenue. And in order to add on to this building, looking to add on to the back of the building, the other parameters, looking at setbacks from East Essex Avenue, as well as property lines. And that really sets where this new addition ends up, right there behind the existing high school building. And then a few of the other site pieces that we looked at where those entrances come off at. So again, the new main entrance moves from Green Avenue onto Essex, which provides ADA access, as well as additional safety and security, secure vestibule, ability to have multiple entrances into the school around the school. So at the rear of the building, cafeteria entrance, and then at the side of the building, we'll say additional special education entrances into the addition as well. So the addition will have 3 on-grade access entrances, and then the Green Avenue entry will still remain, just won't be used as a main entrance. Other site features along Green Avenue, widening Green Avenue slightly to allow the lanes of traffic to be a little wider, as well as provide head-in parking instead of angled parking, providing an additional walking path around the existing practice field. Practice field will remain. Well, let me go back. Practice field will remain. Some additional features, rebuilding some bleachers that were part of the track and field on the other side of Green Avenue, as well as recreating the memorials, World War I and World War II memorials on that side of Green Avenue. Behind the district administration building, a new faculty parking lot, which currently has a plan to connect into Clover, as well as an improvement on the corner of Green, Clover, and North Highland to aid in traffic coming in and out of that new parking lot. Moving around the existing high school and new addition, this is where we now have a driveway around the entire building, which not only aids bus drop-off, pickup, also aids in fire safety and general safety, being able to circulate around the building. And then that exits off onto East Essex Avenue heading to the right. So once again, working through this plan with civil engineers, with the borough and a lot of other folks to make this plan become a reality. So moving to the building level, rotated slightly, Green Avenue to the north of the page here, East Essex to the left or the west. In this plan, existing high school building to the north. We are adding that new addition to the south on this image. Going back to the existing plan, right now that academic bar, most of your academics are off of Green Avenue in that large 3-story academic bar off of Green. We have a few connections adjacent to the auditorium through the athletics area, back to music, library, art, a few other classrooms. And what we're looking to do with that new addition is really connect all the way through, have 3 levels of connection on the first floor. Sorry, not 3 levels, 3 spots of connection on the first floor to connect all the way through, consolidate all of our athletics off of East Essex Avenue, maintain academic bar off of Green Avenue, and then provide a lot of those spaces in the new addition that we aren't able to renovate in the existing building. Large science labs, STEM labs, tech labs, TV studios, additional admin suites, new cafeteria, large gym. And so those are all the pieces going into the addition. If we look in section, we have again that 3-story bar, Green Avenue, which then moves back to, in some areas, a 2-story bar. What we're looking to do is connect on that main floor all the way through to the addition. So the addition will be fully on grade except for a few mechanical spaces in the basement area, but all the student and staff areas will be above grade. Moving on to the next section. Once again, this is closer to East Essex Avenue in the athletic area. So again, trying to make those connections, additional connections on the main level all the way through to the addition, and the upper level all the way through to the addition as well. So looking at the existing building, what does that look like in plan? Again, academics on the Green Avenue side. And right now there are 2 landlocked areas of classrooms, which are academic and business foreign language. Looking to connect those through. So add a connection along athletics back into the addition, and then adding a large corridor at the very end of the addition, which will connect back into the academic wing, making a large racetrack. And that's really what this is doing, is increasing circulation within the building, allowing for students multiple options to get around the building instead of everyone going down one single corridor. So what does this look like on the outside? The Green Avenue facade largely remains the same. We know it's a staple in the community. There are a few additions with a new stair tower, some additional windows into classrooms and physical education spaces. So now looking from Green Avenue on your left, East Essex on your right, looking to improve the existing auxiliary gym when we create wrestling and fitness rooms in those spaces. allowing additional light to come into those. And then you can see the start of the addition there. Right? So as we go down Essex Avenue, looking back towards Green Avenue campus, looking at the existing to the new and main identifiable main entrance, using similar materials as the existing building, complementary materials and design, as well as some accents to denote the school colors, school pride, as well as architectural features. And this canopy repeats on the other entrances. So whenever anyone's coming to the building, they know when they see one of these entrances on the new addition, that canopy denotes the entry. And then the large gym there off of Essex Avenue. Moving around to the back, the main field, which is where we will build our addition. Again, stacking the 3-story piece towards the center of the site, as far away from property lines, roads as we possibly can get. So those areas of science labs and then STEM tech labs, that area of the building, and then additional drop-off area for buses. Once again, you can see that canopy off of the cafeteria, Chevron bus parking to allow for higher additional areas of drop-off for buses. And then moving inside the building. So student commons, this is a space we're excited to work with your students to come up with and design with them as well. Behind us, we just entered the new main entrance, auxiliary gym to the left, main gymnasium to the right. And then as we move forward, we enter into this space. And at the end there is the cafeteria. So you can see it's all about connections, trying to make this a more connected building, show how to create that environment in this new addition. Opportunities for business labs. This is the existing library that we're going to open up and make a double height space, which currently is now a single height space with then very low classrooms up above them. So we're able to recreate the space in other areas. Moving back into the addition at the top of the upper commons, looking down, once again, just a great opportunity for students to gather in a large group, teachers to teach a larger group of students, conduct experiments, things of that nature. And then once again, creating that opportunity for connection in the building. This is leading from the main addition behind you into the academic wing along Green Avenue. So another connection piece that students will be able to use to circulate the building. And then certainly we know we need to accommodate all the spaces for students. So a large cafeteria, similar with the large new main gym, able to accommodate those 9th through 12th grade students who are coming here. So we showed you a lot of the new building. We have been talking about things in the renovation as well. So a lot of the existing classroom doors have a vision panel in the door. Looking at 21st century learning, safety and security. Right now, the desire is to move to a solid wood door with a side light, which provides a little bit more visibility into the classroom. Also gets the door swing out of the corridor. So a little bit more space now for folks to circulate within the corridors and not have to worry about a door swinging fully out into the corridor. Additionally, looking to open some of these classrooms up. So once again, showcasing learning, the classroom or SGI. So there's an operable partition that can close and then provide either 2 spaces for learning or a singular space for learning. It also provides a little bit of natural light to come into the corridor as well. So all of these things are starting to be worked out in the technical details. Once again, working with code officials, fire marshals, working through all the planning that has happened so far. So this is just an image of the BIM model that is starting to be created. And what does this look like timeline wise? Right now, we're in the design development phase of construction documents. Still on schedule, looking to early next year, January, February, with then construction starting March, really heavy in the summer. And that'll give us 3 summers. So the summer of 25, summer in order to complete Green Avenue. Now, looking at costs, there are a few things that have been added to the scope of the project, but a lot of them we can continue to document, continue to look at. We're certainly going to look closely at the scope and try to make sure that we maintain budget and maintain the needs of the education end of the facility. But a lot of the things that we're looking at now can also be bid as alternates. So on bid day, bids come in. If some things need to be taken out of the bids, they can be done so on bid day. So just wanted to update everyone on where we are looking with that. And a lot of good things that need to happen with the building: new roofs, facade up, masonry restoration, some other things like the DAO service is tied in with Green Avenue. So some things that are basically need to happen as we're going through this process. So that is where that is moving towards. So that's green. We'll move to Cypress real quick. So looking at Cypress, proposed middle school, existing Cypress, modular trailer in the rear. This is where we're looking to create that new addition. So that blue mass is where the new addition is currently in order to connect the main existing Cypress building with the gymnasium, as well as provide ADA entrance and access into the building, along with additional circulation and elevator. So looking at the campus between Evans and Cypress, this is the existing campus. As we move forward, right now we're focused on the academic addition, but we know that in the future, as Cypress becomes a middle school, it will need full use of the gymnasium. So the tandem piece with this is the gymnasium addition at Evans. However, that's going to be documented later, because once the addition comes on board, we're going to need to go through land development in order to create that project. So the gymnasium addition, and you'll see this site circulation road will be part of a larger project, which will come later. We really want to make sure that Cypress addition and the funding that we've gotten for Cypress stays on track. So the first phase really includes the addition at Cypress, the renovation of Cypress, and the limited site work in order to make that project happen. And then also completing at the same time, but later will be the gymnasium and the access drive here. So once again, adding parking, creating a student drop-off, the academic addition to Cypress Avenue or Cypress Street, as well as Evans Elementary School gym addition. And looking at phasing of that project, once again, starting summer 2025, we build the new addition, then we renovate the two halves and the gymnasium addition through 27. And then the Evans gym is created from 26 to 27. So looking at the floor plan here, the diagram of the floor plan, right now, really the academics are at the back of the building, the auditorium at the front with admin and library, and then the disconnected gym in the back. So with this addition is really connections through the building. So moving from the historical entry off of Cypress, creating that new entry on the rear of the building, connecting that with admin, STEAM, and connecting athletics and the existing Cypress building all together. So some images: existing building, existing rear of the building, to our new addition, new proposed addition right now, which would then turn Cypress Street from the 9th grade center into Penwood Middle School. One of two. Similarly, we're in design development of the construction documents phase. And we are looking to bid this a little bit sooner, a little bit ahead of Green Avenue, to make sure that we stay on track in December, the end of the year. But similarly, construction over three summers. And once again, this is a little bit, some additions to the scope for this project, including new roof, some masonry restoration, window replacement. Again, a lot of these can be bid as alternates, so that on bid day, we know what the prices are when they come in, and we can take a look at those costs then. With both projects finishing up design development in the next month or so, those will go through a third-party cost estimate. We estimated line by line detailed cost estimates, which we will then share, and you'll see a more definite number at that point in time. Those are that is the high level update. So thank you for letting me share, and certainly if there are any questions, answer.
Thank you very much, Ryan. At this time, are there any questions from Board of Directors, for Ryan? All right, Joy, you have the floor.
Hi, Ryan, this is Joy. Question. I'm not into construction and all that other kind of stuff, so I need the dummy down version. Oops, wait a minute, I see you struggling.
I forgot to put the mic on. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
This is Joy. I need a dummy down version of what is setback? What does that mean?
Sure, setback. So it's a distance away that we're allowed to build the building. It varies from borough to borough, township to township. It's basically just the amount that you're able to build up to. So, we're not going to build right up to next to your neighbor's house. So it's just a certain amount of distance away that we have to build.
Okay, next. I see in the presentation, the tennis courts. Is there anything going to be any updates on the tennis courts that will be done? Just refresh my memory. My memory is terrible.
Sure. So currently the plan, that is the plan. But there have been discussions about if that is the right place to do it. So there will be a further update if they progress at the high school or they end up at a different location. But the plan is to have some spot in the district, if not at the high school, for essentially 5 tennis courts and PIAA level competition.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Bill, you have the floor.
How many additional classrooms are in the Cypress expansion?
Sorry, say that again.
How many additional classrooms are in the Cypress expansion?
Oh, so in the Cypress expansion, right now there are three labs. One planned for a STEAM lab, the other 2 art labs, but 3 labs, and then the other portion of the addition is main admin area.
I'm sorry, that last part? So 3 labs and
3 labs and the main administration area.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Any other Board of Director at this time have any comments, questions for Ryan? All right, not hearing or seeing any, at this time. Thank you very much, Ryan, for your time. Oh,
I'm
yes.
just asking.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, we can. 1 second, Ryan. If there's
Sure.
anyone in the public that would like to ask Ryan a question, you can do so. If you can come to the podium if you have any questions about our facilities master plan presentation that he just would review.
Also, Ryan, there's a request from Ms. Mashinda to go back to the outside of the high school picture, please.
Okay.
All right, so at this time, yes, you have
This image?
I think that's it.
said behind, right?
No, she said outside of the high school
Oh,
picture.
the outside, okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
My name is Melina Reagan, I'm Vice President of Boosters. So what we realized after last week's meeting is that we have a tree, on the side of the bleachers that, if you're facing the field and bleachers on the left side, that we planted in the
Yeah.
memorial.
It'll be moved.
It will be.
Yeah, I've already discussed it with
Oh.
them because I was there for that planning.
Okay.
It'll be moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's lovely. Huge.
All right, are there any other comments from the public with regard to our facility master plan for Ryan? All right, here we're seeing none. All right, thank you once again, Ryan, for your time. And we'll be talking to you, shortly, probably in the next month or two, with regard to giving an update for the meeting, but I'll see you in a week or so at our meeting. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Have a good day. All right,
You too.
so next on our agenda are under our special presentations is our budget options. That's subject line B 2024 budget options. And Mr. Kaufman is going to, our business administrator is going to be presenting on our budget options at this time. Mr. Kaufman, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm gonna share a document that we are using to project revenue and expenditure increases for the 24-25 school year.
Can you make it as big as I can?
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
So this is the anticipated contracted increase, or excuse me, these are the increases that were contracted for the 24-25 school year. So that's from lines 3 to 19, for a total of approximately 3.2 million. Governor's proposed budget increase in the basic education funding of 8.4 million. And a total revenue increase of about 8.9 million. Items that we identified as necessary but not yet contracted for the 24-25 school year. In a total of 5.8 million. And this number on line 69 is highlighted in yellow because the ideal number would be 800,000. But to get a balanced budget, we have reduced it to 611,000. These were department asks that came up during the budget process that we've excluded from the 24-25 budget. And these are potential cuts that were considered during the budget process. From lines 108 to 118, you can see the tax assessment and rate for 24. With a 100% funding, we have kept taxes level for a 0% increase. It does decrease tax revenue by 760,000, but this is due to an increase from property tax reduction, or homestead, as a lot of people know it as, from the state. And you can see that offset in state property tax right here. So then on lines 129 to 141, you can essentially see at different assessment values what your taxes would be if you have homestead and if you do not have homestead. So as you can see, if you have homestead reduction under 100% state funding with a 0% tax increase, your tax bill actually decreases by approximately $115. Now, given that we have not heard anything about the state budget, we also went through different scenarios of a 50% state funding and a 25% state funding for the BEF. Also with 0% tax increases, a 1.5% tax increase, and a 3% tax increase. So if we receive about half of the basic education funding, as you can see on line 35 on this tab, 4.2 million. Anything highlighted in yellow are changes from 100% state funding. Again, this is just a scenario. This is not like determined or decided of what exactly we would cut or exclude. This is just an example. But as you can see in this scenario, it would be excluding additional IAs, ELL teachers, regular education teachers, additional security, contracted security at the athletic complex, overtime for activities, so that would impact weekend and nighttime sports. We wouldn't be able to include the ramp up for the facilities master plan. And we would also have to cut additional items that were added previously to the budget. But as you can see, it's a 0% increase to get to a balanced budget, or near balanced. Alternatively, if we went to a 50% funding with a 3% tax increase as a scenario, you see that 4.2 million again. We would only have to exclude a couple of items, still not great, but a little bit less. Only have one cut And you see a 3% increase here, and the impact on individual taxes at different assessments is below. As you can see, for a lot of properties, you still end up with a reduction, and then about the 150,000 assessment is where we start to see increases in taxes if you have homestead reduction. So just kind of wanted to show the public what tool we're using to determine our budget for the 24-25 school year, and the different scenarios and items about how much we really assess and the work that goes into creating the 24-25 budget.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to open up and say, board members, the floor is open if you have any questions. Jen, you have the floor.
Yeah, more of a comment. So we are running, all these scenarios because we literally have no idea what the budget's gonna look like. We sit here on May 20th. Our budget is due June 30th, without exception. And we have no idea. In fact, I think we have less of an idea than we've ever had. Senate comes in the beginning of June to begin to work on the budget. I've talked to 0 elected officials that think we will have a budget on time. So that means we will be guessing as to what we're doing. And that's why you're seeing a potential tax increase. Because we don't know what we're getting into. If the governor's budget comes back at 8 million, we're good, right? Everything that Dr. Becoats wants to do to make our educational plan more efficient is doable. You saw a lot of special ed teachers, IAs, our children need the support. But we don't know. And if we do not know by June 30th, we will make a budget anyway. And unfortunately, it's apt to cut staff. Now, what happens when we cut that staff? They are gobbled up by other districts, right? Because there's a shortage. And worst case, the state comes back to us in August and says, hey, here's your money. And we can't get our staffs back, right? And legitimately, they have a right to go seek a job. So call your senators, call your friends. I don't care who you call, but this is really bad for William Penn. Now it's bad for other folks too, right? But we care about William Penn right now. And our legislators are not the problem at all. You know, the legislators from the Southeast, with a few exceptions, are in line. But this is not good. And I asked Mr. Kaufman to set up these scenarios, just so we know as we get closer what we're looking at, and there's no surprises in this room or to the public. Because it will have an effect on us if they don't do a budget. Dr. Becoats, did I leave anything out?
I don't think you did. This past Friday, we were at our legislative breakfast with the Delaware County Intermediate Union, and several of the elected officials indicated that it does not, at this point in time, does not look like there will be a state budget before June 30th. Which could have significant impacts on us because we still have to cover payroll in July and in August and in September.
So, yeah, to that point, I've asked Senator Carney's office if there's an emergency funding that they can do. I seem to remember last year that we got some of our money when they didn't do a budget. Is that right?
Yeah, it came in, I believe, in August, but we should have been getting payments in July.
Yeah.
That was-
So I've asked that question, like, can the money keep flowing, even if it's at this year's rate?
Mhm.
Because we do have to pay our bills, and she sent it on to policy.
Gotcha.
But, you know, and, you know, in that case, it's not just about William Penn, it's about a lot of, we have $400,000 in our fund balance. Like, that is like having $1 in your home budget, right? So, I don't know, prayers, intentions, I don't know. We need a budget. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Kaufman, can you just go back to that cut list, real quick? I just want to see real quick.
Which one?
So it was,
The one that has no tax increase. that's a
yeah,
cut.
can you go, yeah, so to no tax increase,
So the cuts and excluding items that we identified as needs this year, but have not yet
okay.
contracted or.
And this is having no taxes.
Correct.
That one in particular is no tax increase and 50% of state funding. So they said, the governor said 8 million, that's us getting 4 million.
Okay, that's us getting four
Yeah,
million, okay.
yeah, yeah.
And
Right, Mr.
so
Gilpin?
that's what says exclude, that's the things that we would have to exclude, and then you have cut, so cut and exclude, same thing. Right? I just wanna make sure there's no difference between, okay. All right. Thank you, Jen, for explaining and being transparent about what's really going on, so
Yeah.
everyone can have a better understanding. Clearly, we're in a tough situation, but we will survive, we will prevail. We have no choice.
I know, but,
I mean,
right, that's like doing less with more,
I-
right? More with less,
More with less,
whatever.
you
Like,
know.
it's bad,
yeah.
like,
But it definitely is. I'm hoping that, hopefully a budget, comes sooner than later, but I do understand June 30th. It's interesting how we always have to make sure that we meet our deadline, but they don't have to meet their deadline, which,
they're getting paid still.
that's what I'm saying.
waiting.
That's what I'm saying. But, you know, we'll combat it when it comes. Thank you very much, Mr. Kaufman. Does anybody have any, other comments or concerns about the budget?
So I just want to add to Jen's comments. If the state's budget drags on further than August, that may cause the schools districts to all borrow, which makes us all then owe money to make money. And
Mhm.
that puts all the school districts at a loss.
Yep.
Because we just do not have the funds to cover payroll, bills, whatnot, because school districts still must function. And they can't work with IOUs that don't get paid, so in order to make those payments, school districts will then have to scramble for payroll loans or things of that nature. Which usually comes in at a high interest, and then we have to pay those interest over time. Which again, it puts us into a position that makes our rating look lower when it shouldn't be because of the inactivity at the state level.
Yeah.
So again, these are things that, keep us in the negative when we shouldn't be in the negative.
Absolutely.
Well, and if you also look at it, like, if, I said do a home budget, but I'm not telling you how much money you're getting.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't in any way, shape or form make sense, let alone with 5,000 young people's lives.
And it hurts our community, because
Right.
if you think about it, we gotta go and borrow, now we gotta raise taxes. And then people are gonna say, okay, why do you have to raise taxes? But it's because now we have to borrow because of the state, because the state is not providing us with the proper information for a budget. So it's like a vicious cycle, you
Well-
know, and
And then the local employees we have to lay off,
yeah.
right? Which,
So, I pray that we don't have to get to that type of situation with having to lay off employees. But, we're gonna keep our ear to the ground on what's going on and try to push get this budget going. But thank you very much, everybody, for commenting. Oh, yeah, you have another?
yeah, Mr. Kaufman, so been doing this for a minute, and I remember that we could only lay off categories. IAs, buses, right, that we couldn't take onesies and twosies, but I think I heard Friday that you can do layoffs like that now. What are the rules around layoffs?
I would have to.
Okay.
do some more research
Okay.
with HR to make sure we're in compliance.
Right.
We do get to
We
that
haven't
point.
started.
Well, no, but so it makes a big difference if you can take one teacher here, one teacher here, one teacher here.
Yeah,
Versus, we've been in the auditorium when we had to talk about cutting bands, like, we had to do whole programs.
no, I understand. I feel like I don't want to alarm anyone. We're not there yet, but I don't want anyone to get alarmed.
Okay, but we have to be very, very transparent, and that's why we ran that.
Okay, so Mr. Kaufman, you're gonna look into that, okay. And we'll just present it at speak on it at our next meeting. Thank you. Thanks, Jim. All right. Yeah, I did.
I have a question. Hi,
Oh, yep, sorry, didn't see your hand up.
no
Yes.
worries. I had a question, Dr. B Coates. With this discussion, what are your thoughts? Should we be in this state of urgency just to, so the community understands, with us reviewing the standards, how do you feel where we are in terms of the budget at this point?
It is a concern of mine. It's a definite concern because you're talking about what, another week, we're in the month of June.
Mhm.
And then the board is in a position to have to make a decision within about 3 weeks after that point in time. Based upon my conversations on Friday at our legislative breakfast, to hear from a senator indicating that we probably will not have a budget does not really sit well with me. We are looking at ways to, potentially show up in Harrisburg in June. That was also recommended. And I'm definitely going to advocate and push that item because I think at some point we have to make it known that, enough is enough. And I don't think, as Jennifer said, it's our delegation. We have to talk to other people, and help them understand what the severity of the need. Did that answer your question, Ms. Ivory?
It did, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, anyone else, Ms. Val, do you have anything before we move on? Anybody online? I just want to make sure. Ms. Luella, if you have anything, no?
I would just comment with the concern and the alarm. So we should definitely be concerned. I'm not sure about, well, I mean, I sit at the place where I've seen and lived through a time where it was well into a school year before a budget got passed. And so the impact that this has on any school district, but particularly our school district, as we know from this most recent fair funding litigation. We're not funded properly, fairly, and we're going to be definitely impacted. So I get the concept of not sending off bells and whistles for alarming folks, but this is a significant concern, and particularly to our district.
Thank you, Ms. Val. Ms. Luella?
I think we've been down this road before, and I just believe that this being a political year, for elections, and I just had confidence that we're going to get there. But it's going to drag along to see where our legislators are and, what they're doing. So, but like I said, we've been down this road before and we got through it. So I just hope that the slowness and, everybody will have time to look at where we are in the district and say enough is enough. And let's just go and pass a budget that will help, the school districts. So we're not the only school districts that in this dilemma, but, I just think that we'll get through it.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Yes, thank you for that. All right. If there are no more comments, questions, or concerns, with regard to that, agenda item, we're going to move right along. We have no motions for action at this time. Next is the review of the proposed agenda business, meeting. So we'll go to that. Thank you. We're going to start off with our community relations committee agenda. It is A1. Free summer enrichment programs offered at William Penn School District. Once again, Thank you, Dr. Beasley, for having this. I think this is such a great just good for our district. So as you see, the information is here, provided for you to, well, just to let you know what's going on and when it will be occurring. The Wilmington School District will offer summer enrichment programs for Wilmington School District students currently K-6 for the 4th consecutive year. Offerings are based on student placement and school of attendance. They will be held June 24th to August 1st, 2024, Monday through Thursdays. The grades listed for the programs are based upon the grade the student will enter in September 2024. All right, then we have A2, Penwood High School student named Student of the Month, our Rotary Club. A3, Penwood High School student receives scholarship from the Lansdowne Upper Darby Rotary Club. And then A4, our high school student inducted into the National Honor Society. And yes, I didn't mention those names because we'll be mentioning them at our actual board business meeting. But that concludes the report for community relations. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns at this time? All right, next we'll be going on to our education committee agenda, read by our chair, Ms. Valerie Cook Henry.
Good evening, everyone, again. B1 in-state field trips. There will be a motion for in-state field trip, which exceeds the 30-mile radius, and B2 waiver expulsion, and you see the details as listed.
Thank you very much, Ms. Val. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns at this time? All right, hearing or seeing none, we're going to go to our personnel committee agenda.
Good evening. All right, starting with C1 retirements. I'll just read the retirements. Gary Rickards, Coordinator of Safety and Security. Mr. Rickards been with the district since January 2005. Effective date 7/26/2024. Mr. Rickards, thank you for your years of service, and I'll congratulate you more at our business meeting. C2 resignations. C3 appointments. There are none. C4 changes in assignment. C5 leaves of absence. There are no mentors. C7 miscellaneous appointments. There are no tenure awards. There are no salary track changes. C11 modifications to previously approved, items. And there are no additions to the agenda. Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ivory. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns at this time from our personnel committee agenda? Yes.
I just want to second what Miss Ivory said about Mr. Rickards and retiring. I've known Mr. Rickards a long time, and it's sad to see him go, but I wish him a lot of fun in retirement. He's been here since our SSOs, I think, were in existence, and he's done a lot for us, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. Any other comments? Yes?
With Richard retiring, who's gonna replace him?
That we will determine as the application process proceeds.
Because I'm truly gonna miss him.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. All right,
I won't be here Tuesday because as everyone knows, I work until 8 o'clock on Tuesday. So I wanted to give my congratulations to Mr. Rickards and thank him for all our hard that he has put in, and man, have a wonderful, wonderful time on this journey, and come get me, take me to the beach.
We're all going. Let's go.
Thank you very much for that, Joy. All right, any other board directors or board members online? All right, I'm hearing none. Next, we're gonna go to our property committee agenda, read by our chair, Mr. Dan Tom.
Thank you, Madam President. I have D1, change order EC1, that is, in regards to East Lansdowne's basement, receiving electrical and mechanical to a classroom. We have D2, a change order, G06, which has to relate to Evans Elementary, being repainted. Change order GC7, which has to do with East Lansdowne receiving, basement drop ceiling. And then MCO1, which has to do with East Lansdowne basement receiving HVAC. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tong, for that. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns at this time, with regard to our property agenda? All right, hearing or seeing none, we're gonna go next to our Budget and Finance Committee agenda, read by our chair, Ms. Jennifer Hall.
Thank you, Ms. Boykins. E1, Treasurer's Report. E2, List of Bills. E3, Adoption of the 2024-25 Proposed Final Budget. I'm gonna read this week and next week. Recommended action is to adopt the William Penn School District 2024-25 Proposed Final Budget totaling $1,127,000,000, et cetera, in accordance with section 8687 of the Pennsylvania School Code. So that simply means that we're telling the public how much money we plan to spend. We may change this number before June 30th. And you'll see later that we've added another budget meeting to sort of deal with this. And in the words of Mr. Tong, E4 is the tax and revenue anticipation note. That does not mean we're going to do it. That means we're going to start looking for money to pay the bills July 1st. It's called a TRAN. The Board of School Directors of the William Penn School District is hereby authorized the administration to work with Public Financial Management as financial advisors, Eckert, Siemens, Sharon, and Malat as bond counsel, and Sweet, Stevens, Katz, and Williams as solicitor for the purposes of issuing a tax and revenue anticipation note TRAN via competitive RFP. We will not be the only school district doing this. It will not be cheap, but it will also be the only way we have to pay our bills if the legislative body fails to act. That's all I got.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hall, for that. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns with regard to our budget and finance agenda at this time?
Jen, when you said the 127 million might be lower than it is now, would that reflect like cuts that we would anticipate the cuts?
Correct, right, Mr. Kaufman? Like that number would change based on cuts. Does that have the 8 million in it or out of it?
It does. So
It does have the 8 million in it. So if they fail to give us a budget, we will subtract 8 million at least.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Are there any other comments, questions, or concerns at this time? All right, hearing or seeing none, next we'll go on to our policy committee agenda, read by our chair, Ms. Joanna Hopkins.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, everyone. F1, first reading of policy 903. And the motion is to approve the first reading of the district's policy 903, public participation at board meetings, and to enter such readings into the minutes. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hopkins. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or concerns at
Yeah.
this time? Yep.
Let me just get up. First, I want to thank Ms. Hopkins for equitably looking at this policy. Because I think that PSBA wrote it a little stronger than we would have liked it, and you heard me out. I did see, and I appreciate that, Joy, a lot. So it's, wait, there was something in here. Sorry, I closed it. Just give me 1 second. The board, it's like halfway down the first page. The board requires that public comment on agenda items be made at the beginning of each meeting. It's not exactly the beginning, so I think we sort of have to write at the appointed time or something, because we don't start with public comment.
It probably will be at the appointed time.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So that was the only thing that I saw, but anyone that sees this policy online can see all the X outs towards the later part of the document, and I'm super appreciative of policy hearing me out on that. Also, where was it? No, go on. It's underneath.
Okay, all right.
We will make that modification.
Thank you.
And I noticed that we did, there was, I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Our last business meeting, I believe it was, Mrs. Faber that mentioned that we needed to talk about two policies that I'm trying to remember, and it went right out of my head just now. So can we make sure that we address those policies for her, please? I wrote it down and I didn't bring that
Ms.
paper
Faber's
with
right
me.
there.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, right behind the podium.
Oh, I can't see, there's a podium, do you remember?
Does anyone in the room remember? Eli, save us. Save us.
Oh, okay.
Well, y'all get us the policies.
I'm gonna review that,
What's the wrong with
that business meeting again and see if I can,
But like.
Do we have to do any type
Ma'am.
of-
it was uniform policy?
So what I have written down, I have uniform policy. She was discussing that if someone's, like the shoulder showing, so there wasn't a clear distinction of, and then she talked about that. We need to be clear about that. And then also, if within the policy, if we could show some, photos of how the person should be dressed, some type of pictures, she was saying.
I'm scared of you. Go ahead, Madam President.
That's why we video everything.
I know, I was gonna go back to the video. Oh, thank you so much. So I just want to make sure that the policy committee, yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
All right, so are there any other comments, questions, or concerns at this time with regard to policy? All right, now,
Just before we leave policy, I would like to recognize that Ms. Stewart is back.
yeah, I see her on the video.
Hi,
I'm
everybody.
right after here, I'm coming right over.
I'm
You
actually
know,
not
the
there.
candy.
Y'all leave her alone.
The
She
candy
just got
lady.
back today.
No, what? We love her. She's awesome.
So we'll just.
She's
I
running
miss
out the
you
back
all very
door.
much.
I was just sharing that so that I would make sure that the right person gets the information for policy. Now that Ms. Stewart is back.
Oh, I see.
Go ahead, Madam President.
So, before we go to, sorry, excuse me, before we go to, the review of the public, review of public comments on agenda items, just one thing I want to bring to the board, is, we talked about this before, but I really want us to move on it, is the, like a DARE project or normal, talking to Dr. Coates about assemblies, more assemblies, with regarding to, drug use. Within the last week, just being transparent, the board has gotten emails with regard to certain type of incidents that have occurred, not all drug related, vapes, things of that nature. And, we're near smoke shops, we're near gas stations. And it's now, it's getting to the point where I think as a school, we have to do something. Like, we have to bring in people to talk to our kids in assemblies about the use of using vapes and marijuana and other drugs and things. We need to get back to that. Guys, I'm driving down Main Street and I see like 2 kids with vapes. And they have to be probably about middle school. And I'm not saying they're from our school. All of the comment I'm making is I feel like as a board, we need to move on this and bring people in to talk to our youth about the use of vapes, because we are just constantly getting emails about this, and I think that we should do something, collectively together if we can find,
Can we look at what the schools are already doing? Because I know a couple of the schools already have robust.
So we have sat in meetings, so we actually were in the, meeting with some of the, I believe they were social workers, Dr. Because that one meeting we were in, or no, counselors, they were counselors, and they were discussing how they handle when a child is, found with,
Right.
vapes or things of that nature. But my push was, in that meeting was, we need to have assemblies.
Right, but the question I'm asking is what assemblies are we already?
We don't have
That's
assemblies
not
on.
true.
We, hear what I'm saying? We
Right.
do not have assemblies we talked about how like back in the day, we used to have assemblies specifically around drug use. We don't have assemblies set up in that type of way anymore.
I thought that we just did one with a guy that ran a bike ramp in the high school a couple of months ago. Remember the guy? He used it. All I'm asking is that we look and see what program they're already doing, if they're doing any, before we go. Because there might be some, I think Park Lane does a Dare-like program.
What I'm saying is that we had a meeting to
Right.
discuss this with the council.
Right.
We don't have something like Dare that comes out. What they did explain to us is how they handle the situation, things that they're doing to, like, for instance, can we partner or start something with, I feel like, the local police? There has to be something where the smoke shops are the ones that are selling these vapes to the youth. You could even buy marijuana in a smoke shop nowadays. So I feel like is there something that we can do on a school level? And I don't know, I'm just bringing it out, Dr. B. Coates, that we can be able to partner with the police to try to, combat this, because I don't know. I mean, the emails that we're getting about kids using vapes, I don't think we want that in our schools. So I think we need to take it up.
I think the exploration aspect of what exists and maybe combining with what we're already doing with mental health and the support that we're giving our kids to see what we can come up with. So I think the exploration may get us to where you are going, Monique.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to bring up to us and see what we can do to start working on it for the upcoming year, because, I mean, the summer.
I concur that it's a problem, and I concur that our youth are overexposed and we should be doing something to combat it. It's just a matter of, again, exploring and partnering and looking at it from that perspective.
Okay,
Duly noted. We'll have something,
all right, cool beans.
guys, updated on this issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next we're going to go to public comments
Hello.
for agenda items. And Ms. Mashinda, we know your hand is up. We see it. You have the floor.
I don't have a copy of this paperwork, so if I want to make a public comment, I can't because I can't see this. Only when y'all go through, and it's very hard to see on this Zoom. Like, it's not in the chat because the chat is disabled. So I don't have a copy of this new business, old business, none of this stuff. But I will say we're having some issues at the middle school. I hope y'all are addressing them. Like, fights at kids is in school with adults is not acceptable at all. Just so you know. I know y'all are aware of what's going on, but something needs to be done. Kids coming home talking about adults fighting in the back in the parking lot.
Okay, all right, thank you, Miss Mashinda. That's notated.
All right.
All right, are there any other public comments on agenda items? Ms. Melita, you have the floor.
So, first, not the concept, but and every school district, the goal out, especially the one for the grant down, the business, so the money is not far enough for to our students, unfortunately.
Hi, honey.
In the no conflict, a few months ago, they
Hi,
were-
Mariah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Did we get something like similar?
Yeah.
Get attention that nursing does use. I think that.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And then in regards to, the budget concern, I mean, that's a very, very situation, like our kids can't really afford to do anything that they, any facility. I've learned and decided to help our staff, our teachers, and obviously now someone that works in one of our schools, they were because they're not out of the school, but a lot of people don't really understand what's at stake. There's still that disconnect, that communication with our parents and guardians in the community. So I was wondering, we have a lot of things coming up for the end of the year where a lot of parents and guardians and families will be attending all the move up days, the graduation. Is there some way where we could have possibly someone from leadership speak at these events so parents understand what's really at stake, or have like literary handouts so people really know that this is a serious issue? You know, everybody putting pressure on Harrisburg right now because they don't know. Like if we want to allow folks to Harrisburg, that would be a great opportunity for people to attend them. And maybe get some buses and get our students, our staff, and our parents and guardians out there. But you know, this is a serious issue, but they don't know, and they don't know. But it's clear, plain old English. This is what your child might lose if you don't put money in it. Like it needs to be that kind of aspect. Now it's time these different events and different.
Yeah.
Maybe have some initiatives, addressing that.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah.
That's a great suggestion. And the short answer is yes, we can do something. So we will work on that because we have all the dates of activities that are coming up. And I agree with you, it has to be something that is simple, probably short, but to the point. Because I thought as after a page, people probably stop reading it. But I totally agree.
I'm happy to work with you guys on that. Like,
Thank you.
I I also think we need to make a list of legislators that are standing in our way. They're not in our district and they're harder to access because they go, where do you live? And they go, yeah, not mine. But you're right, super serious.
I would like to see the list of the legislators that we need to contact
Okay.
versus the ones that, yeah, if you can send that out, that would be great.
Great.
All right,
I'll work with Deidre and I will work on something.
Yeah, and I can give you a list.
Okay.
yeah, and I was just telling her about a video would be good. Not even a letter, a video. I think a lot of parents, like sometimes people don't read what you send out to them.
Yeah, I think that we can put it, like, this is about a budget not being passed, right? It's not about really the number in the budget. That's why we have the court case and the funding commission.
Mhm.
This is just about no budget,
Gotcha.
right? So that's pretty easy.
Yeah. All right, so thank you.
What is the reach on your Wednesday? Or do we know how many people actually do that?
Deirdre is here, she could probably share that information. I know Deirdre, did you hear the question?
I heard the question.
Okay, I know that we do share it with all of our friends of WPSD, we share it with the elected officials, all of the boroughs. And Deirdre, you have to remind me, I think we may also send it out via Parent Square.
Facebook.
But if she, and Facebook and those, but if you could come to the mic and speak to that, that would be helpful, thank you.
Hi there, yes, we send it out through all those channels and we can also see the number of views. So usually it's between like 70 and 100 people that tune in.
Okay.
But I'd have to look and I can provide those numbers. People are interested. So I'm thinking that maybe that could also be a platform that we use to get this messaging further down through.
Yeah,
I'm actually taking my Wednesday word tomorrow, I believe. So we can definitely modify some things to incorporate in there, to incorporate that in as well. But we will also follow up with, Ms. Reagan's idea. I really like that, about being at the places where we know the families will be.
and I'll say to board of directors, we should, you know, the ones that are on Facebook, we should be sharing that video, you know, sharing that Wednesday's word with our audience as well, because everybody has a different audience, you know? But it would be good that if we all could share that just to keep people in the know, but I think that a video would definitely help. So, all right,
Can I make one appeal to school board directors?
sure.
Under new business, is the PSBA Platform and Delegate Assembly. I would love someone to go with me. This is super, super important. And it doesn't come across as that, but this is when PSBA, our governing body, School Boards Association, decides what they're gonna fight for and what they're not gonna fight for the coming year. You know, we are sort of at the end of the road with gun control. There's some interesting platform ideas coming out regarding gun control, being taken up by the state, so we as school districts don't have to. So if any school board directors are willing, it's one day, Saturday, November 2nd, and it's a quick trip up to Mechanicsburg. I'll drive if you want. And it's fascinating to be in the room. It's fascinating. So if anyone can do it, I'd love some company. We can have up to 3.
And if I may.
Yes.
Back on this comment, I was voluntold to be one of those delegates, but I was very appreciative as a new school board member on how, I always tell folks about, you know, doing things locally and how you operate locally, but how it's seen in, you know, statewide on the different boards and how the different boards, you know, govern, and then how the state goes. So it's really very informative. If you do get the chance, I'm gonna step down because I think we got a lot of new school board members that really need that interaction and need to have that experience. So I'm gonna step down this year. I'm gonna come back next year. But this year, I think it's time for people to see more than just William Penn School District. I really think we need to get out there. And I'm gonna keep saying this because as much as I keep doing outside of this room, I think it's more important, and I'm gonna look at people online too, just to really be able to see more than just William Penn School District. I think we really need to start doing some more outreach regarding, you know, other school boards in our state. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate that, Ms. Hopkins. If you're interested and you heard Ms. Hopkins and I, your name to Mr. Kaufman by the 22nd, so we can get us on the agenda for next year, for 25, whatever, 24th, November 24th.
November 24th, right?
Yeah. And it's literally one day.
Mr. Cochran, you could put my name down, Wadia, you could put her name down as well, we'll jump in.
Well, make sure you can, do you want to know? Yeah, but so make sure you have that day free, because we only get 3. So if you take it and you can't make that day, then you've taken someone's spot and we cannot swap names.
Okay,
So just check the date.
you said November 14th.
Second,
I mean, 2nd.
And then we lose our votes.
right,
So it's a voting meeting as well.
Gotcha.
So
Right.
if you don't show, we lose our votes, and we really need to be represented.
All
right.
right, so.
And there's
Mr.
some
Cochran,
really good work in Delaware County going on.
Checking, you're good for November 2nd?
I have to check a couple things. I'll let
All right, let me and Wadia know, and then we can just change, and since Jen's already gonna go, one of us will just say, go ahead and go. All right, cool beans. Thank you very much for that. And if that is all,
I think a question.
oh yeah, sure.
So this is sort of, I guess, goes in line with the budgeting issues and whatnot, and I brought this up at some of the past meetings, and I've been having conversations with different people about the image, and it's not like the first time I've said something or other people in the school district. I want to thank Deidre. She does a really great job at posting things on Facebook, but that's a really limited scope on who sees, like, you know, who in the public goes to the William Penn Facebook page to figure out what's happening. We have so many wonderful kids, like the top 10 students that are graduating. There was a comment made at last week's infrastructure meeting here across the street about, oh, back in the day, you know, my class went to Harvard and Yale and whatnot. That's happening today, you know, and the public doesn't know that. And why, like, the community needs to know that, not just Lansdowne here where the high school sits, the 7 boroughs that are included in the school district. You know, the list of the National Honor Society students, that needs to be published far and wide beyond these, you know, walls here. It goes on and on. In every single building, we have these amazing students. That needs to be pushed back into the boroughs that are housing all these schools. So can we have something, you know, a newsletter or something that goes, it could be the same for all the boroughs, that goes back in, that can be presented at the borough meetings, or, I don't know, share it out, where else, Delco Times, wherever it might be. But again, you know, if we're trying to get the residents on board with the buildings that's happening here and in Cypress, with the tax increases that are required and for students going, we need to give them something. And like, this is what's happening. If you take these funds away, this is what we need.
Got you. Thank you so much, Ms. Favor. All right. With that being said, that we don't have there's any other comments, questions, concerns, board of directors? Hearing or seeing none at this time, we will adjourn our meeting. Everyone have a great day. Board of directors, please do not forget to review your superintendent evaluations. Superintendent evaluation.
And executive session.
Thank
tomorrow.
you. Yes, an executive session tomorrow at 5 o'clock
Five.
PM via Zoom. Thank you.
Welcome back, Miss Danielle.
Danny, I'm coming over.